from Kampala. This is Cinema Red Pill. I'm Sharon, here with film writer Joel Tegeneo.
Jesus, Joel, yeah.
Writer-director Timothy Newamanya.
And
Film enthusiast. No, fellow, I'm just like you. Fellow film enthusiast.
An engineer graduate.
Nicholas Muhereza. And on today's episode, we're going to talk about movies that we liked when we were kids. So the list could be endless, okay?
Yeah.
I did this experiment with people and they would go on a tangent of like 10 movies and you can go haywire. Like you'll think of every cartoon from of them days.
Yeah.
You'll think of Harry Potter was one that kept coming up. Anything you saw when you were younger and you'll be like, that one. But there's always ones that are really the ones which stuck harder. And this is before we became the fancy peeps that we are right now. And when we were like maybe 8 to 15 there. So this episode we're going to talk about the movies that kind of stuck in a particular time period and made you realize something. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't know what you guys have planned to say. No, not realize something. No, not realize something. Or just 2 significant films for you when you were younger, and the reasons why it was significant and the ways it was significant. Just that. I'm projecting onto the way I've done mine, but we'll just see how it goes. So I don't want to start. I'm going to start with Timothy. Timothy, you never start.
Okay. I think I'll just have to go with Terminator 2. I know it's not like... I know in the beginning we were kind of saying that now you said we're fancy peeps now, that probably now we're a bit more bullshit. Tastes have changed, but
refined.
And then, I think Terminator 2 is definitely a movie that had a big impact on me. Like, I loved all of Schwarzenegger's stuff. Everything. I watched this stuff. I know some people had like Rambo was their guy, all that stuff, but for me, Schwarzenegger, anything he did, I watched, I'm sure. But 80s to late 90s period, I'm sure I watched everything he did during that time. Terminator 2 now, I don't know. I like the premise. First of all, it was a sci-fi flick with like robots, and for a kid that was really cool stuff. Like,
can I first ask, how old were you?
When I first watched it, I was younger. I was below 10, I'm sure. It was late 90s, like 99, around there.
Okay. And it registered for you at 10?
Yeah, because...
You were seeing that man and you were like, this makes sense?
Yeah, I love the story. Like the whole concept of like this young boy with basically... Because I didn't watch Terminator 1.
Yeah.
I watched Terminator 2 first. So basically the whole thing of this boy with this like... sidekick of his who's like this robot who's just unstoppable.
But that movie is big for that thing. I see it.
No, but for me it's real memory because like actually like some of the few movies where I had like a legit like emotional like release at the end. That whole scene when he's going in the fan is like
thumbs up, yeah.
After being beaten and like he has his red tie and all that shit. That's like, as a kid, it was something that I think I cried.
Yeah, some soul crushing stuff, man. Yeah.
You also watched it when you were a kid?
I watched it, I think, when I was roughly 11 on TV, though. I watched it on TV. And by then I was a Schwarzenegger fan, where my dad, anything with Schwarzenegger's face on it, he would just buy. It was R-rated. What did matter? We'd sit down and we'd watch it. Yeah. I think, True Lies especially. Watched so many times.
The guy headbutted 2 dogs. That scene stuck with me.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. And I think I was actually a bigger fan of Terminator 1 as a kid.
Even as a kid?
Yeah, 1 it had a sex scene, so that's one big thing. And second, I liked him more, I think, as a murderous robot. Though I also did like the idea of having like a robot pal who could like...
Imagine I had my own Terminator.
Exactly, yeah.
She will protect me and shit.
Yeah, because I remember when he's like fronting on those 2 guys and like, grab this guy. That's such a cool thing if you're a kid. Like, you have a robot, like, grab these dudes. This dude just breaks his arm. Like, 1 second. Yeah, and Schwarzenegger was king those days, man.
Okay, me, I watched it in old age last year, so my points don't count. I saw it with my eyes now, and I also like the first one better, actually.
Yeah.
And the thing about the second one, though, is those days is how there's a whole turn, like, Arnold Schwarzenegger being the good guy
Yeah.
is a big twist. So it's weird for someone to watch the second one
I didn't
first.
watch Terminator, the first one, till like I was probably in campus and trying out to get it to film. Like,
Yeah,
that
me
time.
too.
And I was like, let me check out Terminator 1.
Yeah.
But
That's
I don't really
interesting.
Terminator 2 was the one.
It was the one. It was the only
One
Terminator
everyone-
movie.
Yeah. Because I
I
think
think most
yeah.
people watched that
Yeah.
first.
That's
The beginning
the
of
one.
the
That's
thing.
the one. Everyone.
Yeah,
That's
because
interesting.
as a kid, I was actually by that time I was more into Sarah Connor's story now carrying over, and it was more exciting for me for her to be like a freaking badass with guns and stuff, and she like completely changed as a character. She was jacked.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was amazing for me. Yeah, that
Okay.
thumbs up scene. Yeah.
Next, Nicholas, what's your first film?
Okay, I don't know which one to go for first because there's a little nuance to this, boys. But we'll continue with the action theme. For me, it's going to be The Matrix Reloaded. Okay?
Yes. You guys are such boys.
That's solid. Yeah.
I watched that movie when I was about, let me see, it came out 2003.
Yeah.
I watched it probably the next year. So I'd say 11, 12 there. That movie blew my mind. Oh my god! Everything that happened in that thing
Yeah.
was just like acid. Like, you know, I saw it on VHS. Yeah, kids, VHS was still around in 2003. Okay, I borrowed it and I used to cradle that thing. Like, people used to borrow VHS back in the day. I cradled that one because every single scene in it was just amazing. I'd never seen anything like it. There's a scene with the stairwell, right?
Yes.
In the Merovingian's mansion,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Beautiful.
And unlike, you know, he's all being French and an asshole, and you know his wife is out there, and then like the twins come in and they were ancient vampires or something.
Yeah.
It was like acid for a kid my age. Can
Yeah.
you imagine that? There's vampires, robots, and space. And
Yes.
Neo, it's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love that movie, and watching it now, I think, okay, I'm going unpopular opinion time. I think it holds up.
Yeah.
That movie is amazing.
Yes.
It gets a lot of flack on the internet, but
So much. Yeah.
yeah, all the time people are saying The Matrix when you watch the first one. No, you need to see all of them.
All
Follow
three.
through.
All three.
Follow through. Anyway, as a kid, I at that age I don't think I had any interest in cinema besides like Viconde. Like yeah. But seeing that, I remember being asked, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I remember saying, "I either want to be a revolutionary or a producer." And that duality is strictly because of The Matrix, because you know Neo was a revolutionary and a producer, the guy who made this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So The Matrix Reloaded was the best thing I ever saw.
Yes, amazing.
In my preteen years.
Yeah. Matrix Reloaded is still my favorite, actually, in the trilogy. Despite what the internet says about stuff. And for me, that scene where he's fighting an army of Agent Smiths still blows my mind to this day. I still have that rush of like, oh my god, we had one Agent Smith, now there's like a million, and he's like doing Superman stuff and like...
And he sticks his hand into the chest and he turns into another guy, and he's always blurting out these cool lines, and
It was too
his
amazing.
delivery, it was just so cool.
And come on, I mean that the whole car chase with like the bikes and stuff. That sequence is
Morpheus. Oh my god, Morpheus.
Jesus, man.
With the two
Sweet
ghosts.
Jesus.
yeah.
With
the two ghosts.
The two ghost robot things.
It's
chasing
like a
you.
freaking
And then
katana.
he gets out of the car, right? And
Yeah.
he pulls out his blade and he's like, I'm going to take care of this thing. Oh my god. You
It's
know what that does to
crazy.
you?
I know.
As a 12-year-old boy.
And then like you remember when the trailers like collide and there's like a slow-mo explosion? Oh my god, and you like all the ripples through the metal.
like, forget
Jesus,
about all the
man.
philosophical undertones of it. eh?
The philosophy was crap.
Yeah.
That dude in the white suit, his
Yeah,
monologue is crap.
I actually enjoy it now. As an adult, I do.
Do you ever hear what he says?
Yeah, the twist was amazing because the twist was the one wasn't the first one.
Yes, but
It's
the way he
irony
says
is the
it.
thing. Yeah, of course, the guy really pontificated. Right?
Yeah.
But
Very ridiculous.
I thought like it fit because I watched this movie when I was 12, so if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wanted the guy to sound smart, just throw a big word in every single sentence he says. It played out for me. I liked it. I loved it so much, and I love it till now.
Yeah.
It's the best one.
Yeah.
Timothy,
I've watched it like probably twice or thrice in my life when I was young. I haven't seen Evolutions or Reloaded in years. I remember last time I probably watched the first Matrix was even to do an episode for this year.
Yeah.
But then I think probably because of just reading online and stuff, probably over
This
years,
is
over
on
time I
brand.
grew. Over time I grew to like disregard the other two, but I understand that opening fight scene in the second one. It's iconic.
Forget
All-
opening.
all
the fight scene.
all
Yeah,
literally
opening one.
all.
It's the opening fight scene that really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, in case anyone doesn't know, Cinema Red Pill is a reference to The Matrix.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
only the first one, because I've not seen the third or the
What?
second. I've not seen the third or the second at all.
That's
And because I'm
miserable.
going by the
That's-
word of the internet
of the
that only
crowd.
the first one is the relevant one and the one you should see. So this will make me reconsider. I'll see the other two and probably see the extra that's getting you guys insane. Okay, next, Joel, what's yours?
Yeah, okay, so mine is Batman Returns. Tim Burton's
On brand.
Batman's Returns. Now, this movie I actually first watched when I was 3, believe it or not. My dad thought it was wise to show me an R-rated Batman movie. And first I had nightmares, so I revisited it when I was about 7. And then I really dug it. It's watching it now, a lot of stuff, because I just rewatched it again today. A lot of stuff must have gone over my head because
Yeah.
like the amount of fetish fuel in this movie, like it's so sexually charged. I think there's a line where like Penguin Man walks in and finds Catwoman on the bed. It's like this is just the pussy I was looking for. like the stuff that they got away with was crazy. And but basically it's the second in like sort of in the Tim Burton duology. Yeah, he made Batman 1989, which I watched as an adult. So for me, this was my introduction to Batman. Tim Burton's Batman was my Batman.
Was your first Batman?
Yeah, and like I loved everything. Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, that was pretty
Freaking
hot.
awesome. Yeah, exactly. She was hot. She was relatable. Just the way she uses sexual powers, like manipulate people, was also super interesting. And she also kicked ass.
Yeah.
And Penguin Man, yeah, Danny DeVito, grotesque dude.
Wasn't
Grotesque
Tommy Lee
dude.
Jones in that one?
No, Tommy Lee Jones
he
was in Batman Forever. Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
I realize now this was like peak Tim Burton. Like if you look back at his sort of filmography, because he had just finished Edward Scissorhands, then he did Batman and Batman Returns, and I think he did. I don't know if he had done Ed Wood yet. No, he was doing Nightmare Before Christmas. The same year he released.
94, I think.
Yeah, this was 92. So he released Nightmare Before Christmas the same year as this. And apparently what happened was, for Batman 89, the studio sort of reined him in a bit. The movie did really well, had an opening of like 45M. Then
And
Batman
so
Returns, they're like,
he
just go
unleashed
crazy.
himself.
And he proper just unleashed himself. And he scared so many American mothers out of the theaters. McDonald's couldn't sell their stuff to kids now because of all the weird sexual stuff that was going on. And there's so much sex in the movie.
You know, one of the most, the earliest scenes from a movie I remember is when Michelle Pfeiffer fell out of that window. And
Yeah, it gets pushed out of a window.
Yeah, and a bunch
They
of
lick her
cats-
to life.
Yeah.
Basically, she gets licked
That
to
freaked
life.
me out
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
Hey.
And there's
I was
also
like,
there's so much messed. I mean, this whole the central plot point of this movie is baby murder. So very excited that I watched this at a really young age. Didn't mess me up at all. I'm fine. So like it starts with like parents trying to attempt to murder Penguin Man, and then he like winds up in the sewers.
Did they call him Penguin Man? Was it
He was
just
called
the
the Penguin. He was called the Penguin. But yeah, a bunch of people call him Penguin Man somewhere. But like anyway, now like the whole big plot for his whole thing is like I'm going to take all of Gotham's firstborn sons and murder them.
Like
That's like the end game of the entire movie, and I thought that's also really cool for a comic book movie, because these days every comic book movie is about something and there's a message, global politics,
Why
blah,
can't
blah,
it just
blah.
be good old-fashioned
Yes.
infanticide?
Yeah, so I like this existed in an era where like people like comic books are trash. We don't know what to do with them. Just do whatever you want. So I like that an artist like Tim Burton
Did
literally
you like
went
that
and
as
do
a
whatever
kid
he
or
wants.
when you watched it today?
This is
It's
back.
it's
Because
more of
we are
looking back
looking-
because I watched it repeatedly and then compared it to other Batmans as I grew up. This is still kid me.
Okay.
So that's
It still counts.
That's the Batman movie for you.
Yeah, because it still stood like from childhood up to now throughout.
Okay.
It still stands as my favorite Batman
Okay.
movie of all time. Yeah, great movie. Have you watched it ever?
I've not watched it. Do you guys still have what to say about it? Because me, I didn't watch it.
A hell of a Batman to be your defining guy, yeah? Michael Keaton?
Yeah, Michael
That's
Keaton's
insane.
great. Yeah, yeah.
He's quite literally insane.
Yes. Everyone's actually insane.
Okay, so my pick.
Yeah,
Now,
go for it. Yeah, bring us down.
I did not imagine that this would end up being Fanboy Central.
Yeah.
I think.
You got 3 guys on your show, what did you expect?
So the next one I'm doing with only women. And we talk women stuff and
Okay.
women things. Because sweet Jesus. Anyway. So my pick is not those movies. So my pick is Grease, the musical. The 1978 musical. Because I grew up in a house with 5 sisters and they would project a bunch of stuff on me. And this is one of the stuff that really stuck. We used to watch Grease every fucking day. And would sing the songs all the fucking... sorry. I'm the one supposed to know.
Yes.
We used to watch Grease every day, and we would dance to the songs like every day. We had a DVD that had the, like, you know those when they do a musical, they do a separate DVD for you to sing along and dance along to the thing. We also had that thing, and so it's really significant for me. And I was into John Travolta's Danny Zuko. My favorite sequence, of course, was the prom scene when it really looks like it was very meticulously made, because I don't know, I would not tell those things those days, but I remember really liking that sequence a lot. Of course, I love Danny Zuko. Then the thing I like about this movie is how I used to think as a child how you need to, because the movie has a transformation scene at the end where Sandy dresses up in a skimpy little outfit for Danny Zuko. I used to look at that stuff. I'm like, yes, this is adulting. You dress up and you make sure you blossom, and then he will accept
Wear tight
you.
leather.
You know,
Now you're a woman.
so that stuff really
that
good.
makes sense.
I used to believe in that shit hardcore, and of course now in old age I'm like, stupid, screw you.
Oh no.
But it doesn't reduce the film for me. I still really like it. I still really like the soundtrack of the movie, and it's a significant film for me from young age. I really liked it. I don't know if you guys. No.
Yeah, did you watch Grease
no,
too?
no, no,
Can we
no,
talk
no,
about
no,
Grease
no.
too?
Fuck. No. Definitely not. But did you guys watch Grease?
Yeah. Not as a child. For us, actually, what was our childhood music was High School Musical, and I was really into that until my sisters started watching it every day and singing the songs every day. Yeah, which is basically what they were doing with Grease. That ruined it for me. At first, I was like, "Oh, this is a cute little movie." Then it's just every day. It literally brainwashed me as I slept, and I still have all the songs in my head just through osmosis. Waking up every day listening to the same soundtrack over and over and over again.
I saw Grease when I was like 16 or something. So I guess it didn't count as a childhood movie for me, but
Legally.
Hey man, in America I could get down.
Yeah.
Probably buy a gun too.
Good one.
Anyway, I liked it because of,
The greasers, the greasers. That's the best part. Yeah.
John Travolta, that guy's so cool.
Yeah, he was.
Hey, you see me in the leather jacket? Oh, I need something.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What's weird is that I've never seen any of those old dancing to John Travolta films.
It's a completely different person. You need to.
Saturday Night
Yes,
Fever,
right.
any of
So you
those.
haven't seen Grease?
Now, I probably have, but I don't remember it. Like probably I
Grease,
watched it when I was
like,
younger with, but I don't remember it.
He was a lady in Hairspray. You should see that.
Yeah.
But he's older then.
Like, you should probably see because they're saving that whole thing of him dancing in Pulp Fiction was like homage.
Oh
to that
yeah,
shit.
yeah,
So
exactly,
probably-
exactly.
Oh, it's good. So on to the next one, the last one, our second and
Okay, I'm going to really go because I've done a bit like mainstream like stuff which is in cinema. Let me do something which is a bit more obscure. I'm a bit more embarrassed about this one. No Goal, the film.
no,
What?
no,
Goal. I watched Goal.
no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Goal was
Oh, you're saying Goal?
the football film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was one of my
I saw
favorite
that.
time.
Yeah.
Like, when I was a kid, I loved that film. Like, it sort of gave me this, told me that I could also become a footballer.
Yeah, we,
And
yeah.
so this Mexican guy somewhere in the US is like hustling with his family, and somehow some scout sees him, and then like he takes him to like England in the Premier League.
Whoa.
Because as young, and I think my first love has always been football.
Yeah.
So like just seeing that story, kind of like this guy come up and then he goes and plays in the Premier League. It ends on a high note. They've done well. Goal 2, they even made Goal 2. But he's playing Real Madrid
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
He's not playing the Beckham side. Like as a kid watching all that stuff and as a fan of football, it was really
Yeah.
something that really stuck with me.
I love so much that you followed through.
I really loved that those two films.
Yeah.
I know right now if I watch, I haven't seen them in like years, but if I watch them right now, I know I'll probably see. Of course, this is so telenovela in some parts, all that stuff. But
Yeah.
for a kid who liked sports, football,
Yeah.
that movie was just magical. Like, anyone could go and become, say, Ronaldo, who would just come from this. You saw the Pele movie which came out? They made a movie about
No.
Pele.
I didn't
They-
see it.
I saw it advertised, but I
He has a
never saw
very good
it.
director. The DOP is like a guy who works at Aronofsky all the time, but
Yeah.
I didn't really see anything like still goal.
Yeah.
The football movie, it's the sports movie.
I know. I think I also watched it when I was like 12. I think I watched it in
I
like
watched it
P7.
I watched it like my first years of high school.
Yeah, I watched it in like P7,
That's when I
and,
really-
and that time I actually still gave a damn about football.
Yeah.
Now
Now
I couldn't care less.
I
But
still love football.
but like back then I was a football fanatic and I was a Liverpool fan. So that movie for me was
Caning Liverpool in the finals.
yeah. But I was like so excited to see Owen and Gerrard
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like
that
in
kind
all
of
in
thing
one
of
scene.
A movie whereby these are actually actors, but the way they shoot the thing, it's like this guy is actually on the pitch with Beckham, with Ronaldo, with Zidane, and
Yeah.
actually in the game he's passing to them, they're passing the ball to him.
Yeah.
For me, it was just fantastic. It was
Yeah.
fantastic.
And I think it would still like stand up because like those Brit movies are sort of a little more grounded.
Yeah,
Because I remember, because I remember it was just those specific scenes that were like super heightened, but the rest of the time he had
it's a
like
drama. It's a more drama.
had this buddy helping him like, oh, don't overdrink
Don't
before a
drink
game,
Daddy.
some stuff like
Like
that.
this chick who's like a nurse and like
Yeah.
a footballer, like everyone to go and get like these other chicks, like
Which
the
is-
ones
Yeah,
basically.
which is amazing at that age.
Yeah.
Like they give you the whole fantasy of being a football player. Like, oh, you're getting a wag. You're going for drinks with the boys.
Have the women always
all that
been
stuff.
called wags?
Yeah, wives and girlfriends.
It's now across every sport now. Anyway,
Nick, what's your pick?
And I think I've spoken about this on the show before. It's Jungle Book. I
Nice.
watched that movie so many times as a kid. So many times actually, because I think it's my mom. My mom got that VHS actually. So from like I don't know 2, all of us used to sit down watch Jungle Book on Sundays. So bad by the time we all grew up, like if you put that movie on, pretty much all me and all three of us who can narrate it for you word for word. It was that severely burnt into us, and I loved it. I still do.
Yeah.
The songs in that movie, outstanding. Man, they went for a jazz influence from
Yeah.
Disney. I mean, it was anyway.
I thought you do.
How it felt for me as a child, though, it was a magical thing, like with King Louis,
Yeah.
that guy. All his scenes were the best for me, like from when the monkeys kidnapped him and Baloo.
Yes.
Oh
Baloo
God.
is
Did I
fucking
kind of end up being Baloo? Anyway, I thought that movie was a very magical experience for a kid to have, and as I grew up, and I think I see way too much in that movie as an adult than I should. That was intended. I ended up reading the Rudyard Kipling books and everything, really dug into it, like as an adult cinephile should. But I don't know. I don't think there are any words that can encapsulate how deeply I feel for that movie. And I think isn't that the whole point of them anyway? Yeah.
Very true. That was No, that was that was also one of my favorite. I actually still have the VHS, original VHS to this day. I kept somewhere. That's also one of my personal favorites as a kid. Watched it a billion times and write about the music. The stuff with the elephants, bare necessities. King Louis was great, even the way he's animated, the way he moves.
Oh my god, did you know they wanted to get Louis Armstrong to voice it? Like the controversy of getting a black guy to voice a monkey.
Yes.
And moreover, he sing about wanting to be human.
I want to be a man cub. And then freaking Shere Khan was amazing. That dry British accent.
The original Brit villain.
Yes, that's true. That was my first Brit villain ever. And he was intimidating as hell. I just like that scene where he's like, why should you run? Everyone runs from Shere Khan. He was
and the Beatles vultures.
Yes. Everything was amazing.
Magical
and that ending scene was like, because it had a nice mixture of like super tragic, realistic stuff. And then, like, a lot of comedy. Because that stuff was horrible. Like, Baloo is getting whooped. And then vultures are jumping around doing comical stuff in the background. Beautiful movie. Beautiful movie.
Joel, what's your pick?
Oh, yeah, that's actually a great segue. Because my pick is... I'm trying to remember the title. It's long. Greystock, Tarzan... No, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes. That's a full title. Greystock, The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes.
Yikes.
Now, this was it's actually a pretty obscure movie. I've just discovered almost no one has watched it. It's an obscure movie from the 80s, but it was my introduction to Tarzan. And it starred Christopher Lambert of Highlander fame. And that was like his first American role he was Tarzan. It's live action, yes. And it's not like the romanticized Tarzan which actually not into as a result of watching that version at a really young age. This was super naturalistic. When it opens, like, there's a shipwreck, then the mother like gives birth to Tarzan and dies of malaria. The apes stroll in, flex with Tarzan's dad, murder him, then adopt Tarzan and take him into the woods. Really dark stuff. And then there's like this whole, it's very like mental, as far as like mental issues, because the director was trying to do something closer to actual kids that have grown up in the wild. So you have this kid like struggling with his whole identity and stuff. Then a Belgian explorer played by Ian Holm, I just discovered today, like comes in and like, oh, I know you're like the son of like, you're like the heir to like this great fortune back in Scotland. So like he takes him back. And then the last half of the movie starts and trying to reintegrate into like polite, civilized society, but then it's still also messed up because here now Tarzan's grandpa is still alive. He dies in the movie, and the way he dies, I've just realized, is also messed up because he like skates on like those serving trays. He skates down the stairs, hits his head, and dies. Like that's it. That's how the movie rolls.
And he straight up dies.
Yeah. Like Tarzan goes to a museum. He sees one of his chimp buddies has been like stuffed. He's like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" And he goes to the zoo. His ape dad is in jail, and he's like, "Screw this!" I'm like breaking the dude out. I know you think it's going to be super inspiring, and they like Free Willy, but no, they like shoot the dad dead. They just shoot the dad dead. And then girl's like, what's wrong with you people? That was my dad. And of course everyone is like, the hell are you talking about? And then at the end Tarzan's like, screw it, I'm going back. So his love interest, Jane, doesn't even go with him back to the jungle. He's like, okay man, bye Tarzan. Back to the jungle, I'm going back to light society. And it ends. And as a kid, I watched that I think when I was 7. That was my Tarzan. I watched that movie so many times. So when I started getting into the books and like this Disney animated Tarzan, I was like, what the hell is this? Like it was too like romantic and like Tarzan was a superhero and that never really, by that time, I was like, that's not really my Tarzan. Like my Tarzan was dirty, bloody. There's so much blood in the movie. It's just like gutting a panther with a knife and bathes in its blood.
This is live action.
It's live action stuff. Live
Wow.
action stuff. So you're like right there.
How old were you?
I was 7.
Yeah.
It didn't mess me up at all. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a really great movie. I also want to find it again, like a digital version. But yeah, I freaking love that movie. I still have the VHS in my room. I wish I had something to play it on. But yeah,
We're going to do honorable mentions, don't worry. So the last one, which is my pick, is mainstream as fuck. Oh, sorry. It's very mainstream. So it's going to work well because everybody has watched this movie. And it is Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
How old were you?
I was about 13. Which
That
screams
makes sense.
teenager. So you know what that means? I was madly in love with Johnny Depp. Like
no.
I grew an obsession with Johnny Depp. And full disclosure, this is actually the reason why I wanted us to do this episode. So many times, whenever I talk to someone who knew me back then, because in high school I used to write his name on my hand every day, and I keep saying like this is why tattoos can be a bad idea because things change. I was sure I wanted a tattoo of Johnny Depp and I was doing it every day consistently. My hand had Johnny Depp, and every time I meet someone they ask me and I tell them I have a podcast, a movie podcast. They're like, I bet you talk about Johnny Depp all the time. The man has never come. So that's when it made me realize that when we were working back then, the people we were are so different from the people that we are now. Because I was obsessed with that movie, but I was so into that movie, and I think that I liked it a lot because it's one of the movies I liked by myself. Since I was the last born and I had mob siblings, they used to project the things they like onto me, and I would take them up because I looked up to them. I'm like, they like it, so it has to be cool. Yeah. But this one, I saw it. I was obsessed with it. Johnny Depp was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. I was like, this is so weird, and I love it. So yeah. And then even back then, I used not to recognize stuff like the score, which I really like now. Yeah. I think that's one of the things I like a lot about the film now in adulthood, that score is amazing. But I loved the film so much. I loved the story, of course. I wasn't into Orlando Bloom at all. Yet he's the hottest one in the park. I liked yes, I did not at all. I loved Johnny Depp. He was so weird, and I just enjoyed that weirdness all through. He was like drunk all the time, and I was super attracted to it. Yeah. Yes, super attracted to it. But I also found Orlando Bloom's "Where's Elizabeth" all the time. It was quite adorable. But Johnny Depp and his wittiness, he was so witty. It was so cool, and it's just his running theme as Captain Jack Sparrow. That shit affected me so hard. Which, of course, the sequels I didn't like. I tried to rewatch them recently, but no, please. I watched the other film in the theater, but no.
How was that?
No. Real trash. Real trash.
Yeah.
Of what?
Disappointment.
No, like Johnny Depp was actually drunk in the last movie. Like it was like sad. It was like legit.
I don't think he wanted to.
No,
he was
did not.
drunk. He was gliding drunk on the set. I had that
did
too.
not care.
He did not give a fuck. But you guys, Curse of the Black Pearl, though. No, first of all, the movie has aged well. The score has aged well. Johnny Depp has not aged well, like in terms of who he is. Because now, like, I don't like.
People are now used to him playing that.
No, he's literally
even
not
as an
trying.
actor, he's not trying, and I don't like him anymore. Which is the thing. I really don't.
Yeah.
I really don't.
It's like saying Nicolas Cage is an actor and he did everything.
No, Nicolas Cage is working his ass
But
off.
have you watched? You watched
Still
that
trying.
part? Did you look at him and see like an actor who was committing to his role at all? If you would compare it to Curse of the Black Pearl.
I still felt I got Jack Sparrow just with the shittier story.
It was a shitty Jack Sparrow in a very shitty story.
Jack Sparrow. It was a no effort Jack Sparrow.
It was a terrible. It was the most disappointing.
It was a disgraceful.
Distasteful.
But again, let's forget that shit. We are on Curse of the Black Pearl. Tell me what you guys when you watch that film and watch that?
Class of the Black Pearl for me was also a very special experience.
Mm-hmm.
I borrowed that VHS myself.
VHS,
I told my boys-
damn, man.
Yeah, VHS.
No.
Like I said, when we were 13, VHS was still around. People.
Yeah.
I got that thing from the lib. I showed it to my brothers. And none of us had ever heard of that stuff before because, the internet wasn't a thing that was constantly around at the time. So we put it in and it seemed like one of those typical romance pirate movies. And we were bored out of our minds. Your attraction to it, Sharon, was Johnny Depp. Our attraction to it was a guy called Barbosa.
Oh,
That guy
Captain
showed
Barbosa.
up, and he was all like, "You best start believing in ghost stories, Missy."
Oh.
And like he shows up with the
That's
skeletons.
cool.
Mind-blowing stuff. I thought that was a fantastic adventure film. Yeah, the sequels, Jesus.
Fuck those. Forget it.
Yeah.
About for me, it's also a bit weird. The movie was in cinemas,
Yeah.
and everyone, I think when it came out that time, everyone went to see it or something, and like as well, it was amongst my boys who hadn't seen Pirates. I was feeling like a village. Everyone was like, "You see this movie? What? Pirates of the Caribbean? There's Jack Sparrow, man." That's bleak. So I actually got to see it. Probably like it came out 2004.
5, I think. Yeah, 5.
Yeah, so I probably saw it 2 years later, around that time when you could go to downtown and get like DVDs with like the collection.
Yeah.
Like you get like those
Yeah.
4-in-1s.
Yeah.
That's basically when I got to actually fully enjoy
To see
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Of the Caribbean.
But
Actually,
how did you react to it?
Yeah, it was like for the time it was like it was the best stuff you could watch. Like when you actually come home from school and you find a movie like Pirates is out and you could see it was you spent your time well during the holiday. I watched this nice movie and all that. It was pretty much like a blockbuster fare.
Yeah.
I didn't really know like the difference between all that stuff. I would just watch, but I watched it as it was mainly how should I put it? A bandwagon thing in a way. Like I liked it, but it wasn't. So it's something that really stuck with me. Like I liked the movies.
Like for me, actually now that I think about it, because I was a little bit older when I saw it, it was the first instance when I appreciated pageantry in movies. I think that's important. Like the pirate thing, I think dating back now, I know it's like a gateway thing for pageantry. You just have to have guys swinging on the ropes and pulling up the masts, whatever. Yeah, but I noticed it there because all the skeletons were doing very animated movements, and I thought if this is supposed to be creepy, it's really funny to a 14-year-old guy. Anyway.
Joel?
Well, I freaking loved this movie when I first saw it. I think I was 13 probably when I first saw it.
We're the same age!
Yeah, and I think and that time I was in my pirates phase. I'd left my dinosaurs phase and I was in a heavy... No, I legit used to study dinosaurs. I used to have like stickers of all the dinosaurs in my room. I could name all the types. Yeah, even that of those stuff. But like going back to Pirates, before it came out, I was super into Treasure Island. I think I'd read almost every version of Treasure Island that was out there. Too, I hate Treasure Planet. That's a separate issue. That freaking sucks. It takes a dump on Treasure Island. It's trash. Anyway, going back to Pirates. The Pirates of the Caribbean was freaking amazing. Johnny Depp was my favorite character. Yeah, we're not yet on Barbosa. As far as Castle of the Black Pearl is concerned, Johnny Depp was amazing. I couldn't give 2 craps about Orlando Bloom. I was super into Keira Knightley though.
She was dope.
Yeah,
she was, I think, the it girl at the time probably.
Yeah, I wasn't really like attracted to her. Like I more empathize with her as like a main character, because I think you follow her for like most of the flick, her stuff with her dad and how she wants to be a pirate. So her wanting to be a pirate, I immediately imprinted on her. I was like, yeah, pirates are the coolest.
This is a cool chick.
Yeah, this is a cool chick. She knows what's up. Then Jack Sparrow is there. You're going under his wing, and I'm like, yeah. I know, like zombie pirates. That blew my mind. I was zombie pirates. That is the craziest, coolest thing that I've ever had. And that movie still holds up today because I do a Pirates marathon. Only the trilogy, just up to number 3. Is as far. Yeah, there are 5. There are 5 now. I can only go as far as 3. And Castle of the Black Pearl is still the strongest by far.
Pretty good movie.
Okay.
For something based on a theme park.
So
Yeah.
we're done with our main picks, and now we're going to just list. We're not going to talk about them. Like just no. We're not going to talk about them at all. We're going to just list them. Like I know there's many still nostalgia picks which maybe you've cut out of your list. Just mention them. Timothy, go first.
Let me see. Lion King, Osmosis Jones. A lot of the Jim Carrey 90s stuff, The Mask and the Light,
Ace
Ventura.
That's nice.
And Eddie Murphy. And Austin Powers, that was my
that's
Austin
interesting.
Powers, all of them, all the three from The Spy Who Shagged Me,
Yeah.
Goldmember. What was the other one? Something, the three. Okay, the three of them. Those were like probably when I was growing up as a kid, those were like the movies.
Nick.
Alright, for me it's a movie called Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, serious.
Movie. I am very serious. Okay. Fun fact about Big Nick. He used to be a break dancer as a kid. He was in a dance group too.
Six two of us.
Yeah, right?
I'm not alone.
Everybody was in the dance group back in the days. And one of the biggest influences for that, and though people didn't know it, was a movie called Breaking 2 Electric Boogaloo. Anyway, that's all I'm saying.
Only. There's no other.
Not you got served or something like that. I thought you got say you got served.
I think I saw that movie when I was 16.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You got served also. I probably throw it.
No. There's no.
You're too old for that.
There's no
Joel,
other.
what are you?
That's the only one.
That's the only one.
Yeah, another honorable mention for me. I've talked about Secret of Nim before.
Yeah.
That's one of them. All Dogs Go to Heaven, done by the same director. Star Wars, obviously. All of them. And what else? Lion King, at least movie I ever watched. And it's not exactly a movie per se, but I had this VHS that had four episodes of this show called Defenders of the Earth. I don't know if either of you ever watched that. It had like Flash Gordon, it had the Phantom, that comic strip that was in New Vision, a bunch. Yeah, so it had them all like in an Avengers style team, and I watched the crap out of that. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Mine are, I think, mainly two. 101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
I really dug the movie. Both
Live
1
action
and 2.
or
101 live action.
Oh.
101 live action. Cruella de Vil with Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil. Both 1 and 2. I dug those movies. And the other one is a rom-com. I wish I had pushed on my list so that I really be a contrast to these boys'
You
picks.
should have.
But the other one is A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff.
Yes.
You didn't watch that?
A
I only
Cinderella
remember the one
Story.
with Brandy.
No,
Black.
I've never even watched that. A Cinderella Story with Hilary Duff.
Really?
Yes. Oh, there's another one. I think the only sci-fi film that really I watched a lot when we were younger because we liked it as a family was Back to the Future. So
What? You watched it that early? So
yeah, I
lucky.
really watched it very early. We were obsessed.
I watched that in college.
Very obsessed.
Face Off, you guys.
Yes, Face Off. Yes. Yes. Nick Cage. Nick Cage.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's a good one. I got that a lot from people who was asking this question.
Yeah, maybe it's there.
Yes.
Those are the
I
definitive
feel those
films.
movies, yeah.
Yeah.
This Day Out, Home Alone, Terminator 2.
Terminator 2, nada. Lion King, maybe.
Take it out.
You
No.
took a quick turn.
That's a hard turn. I'd say like.
Those are the movies I knew, like every farmer
But
would go to
Baby's
some-
Day
they would
Out,
have the
yes.
tape of
I watched a lot of movies
Yes.
there. So,
Yeah, so anyone listening were highly influenced by some Western ass movies. So
Oh yeah. I watched one African thing.
Yeah, I was
Like,
going
what
to
must
ask- I was
be
going to ask you.
Not that. No. I'll never mention that. Yeah.
I was
Those
not able to watch. I used to.
Nigeria phase, like with my mom, I was watching her shit.
Hardcore. Yeah.
Eh.
I went through a proper Nigeria
How
So
old
did
were
I.
you in that Nigeria phase?
before high school.
Yes.
Primary.
Because I
didn't
think
get
when they
that.
came out as like 10, I watched the crap out of Nigerian movies.
All
you guys
Aki
didn't
and
see
Popo,
God Must Be Crazy,
God
Mr.
Must Be
Bones.
Crazy.
I didn't like
that's
that
a
one
shame.
though.
What's
you watched
that
the
movie? The movie where they swapped, like there were two friends, one was black, one was white, and they swapped like colors.
Like,
Yeah. What I watched was
Captain Die Hard or some shit.
what I watched was Crazy Hong Kong when he goes to Hong Kong. That's a VHS that we had. That's the one that I enjoyed.
We had all the 5 goals.
Yeah, and I had tapes of that Sarah comic strip in Straight Talk. My mother somehow, like, she went on a trip to Zimbabwe and came back with a bunch of Sarah VHSs.
And I'm sure also like Sarafina must have been like the
yes.
Yeah,
Sarafina definitely needs to be
everybody knew
mentioned.
the song of Sarafina.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my God, what's the Whoopi Goldberg movie where she's Ananda?
Sister Act. Everyone knows
Yes,
Sister
yes.
Act 1 and 2. 1 and 2.
No. No, Tim, no, that's not happening.
Influences.
American
Not
Pie.
just stuff you saw.
No, but those are all really like, I don't know, probably wouldn't do like a whole episode.
When you're
Yeah.
a child, you.
But they were really
Yeah.
like, special
And-
movies, like, personally I love those.
And
I'll
shout
watch them again.
Yeah, and shout out.
I would not. Those things
I
were
know,
like
I would.
after
Sister
school
Act, I would
specials.
watch.
Sister Act movies, they were
I
like
would
after
watch.
school specials. Like,
But, like-
really preachy.
I just want to give like one shout out to all those French booby movies on Action X. Thank you. You did it. You gave us daytime porn, easily accessible. Yeah. But
Okay,
yeah,
guys, I'm closing this.
yes.
Thanks, friends. Joel,
Friends, Romans, countrymen.
Timothy, Nicholas, me, Sharon. Thank you for listening, people. We are Cinema Red Pill, and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe on SoundCloud and iTunes. Thanks and bye.